2014 was a fantastic year for movies. I don't have 5 honorable mentions this year, I have 8. Divergent, really well-directed, well-acted movie with an interesting world and likable characters. The Purge Anarchy. If you didn't like the first film, which you probably didn't, give this one a chance. It at least goes all out. Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones. It was suspenseful, really creative, and kept me intrigued with the mythology. Nightcrawler. It manages to make me sympathize with a psychopath who exploits people's pain for money. Into the Storm. I was on the edge of my seat throughout half of it, and the ending was almost perfect. The Fault in Our Stars. Fantastic chemistry between the two leads and an ending that had me just on the verge of bawling my eyes out. Life itself. If you love movies, this should be a required viewing. 2 thumbs up. And finally, 22 Jump Street, an absolutely hilarious film that is not only a great comedy, but a great action movie as well. And that's it for honorable mentions. So, sit back and enjoy. This is my top 10 favorite movies of 2014. Every year, there's a movie near the bottom of the list that I call the most underrated movie of the year. Throughout the entire film, I kept wondering where it was going, how it would end, and who would make it out alive. This film has some of the best editing I have ever seen. It really makes you feel as if you're slipping into sanity, and you can't tell what's real and what's not. If you didn't like the film when you first saw it, watch it again. This movie demands repeat viewings. The first of quite a few sequels on this list. I couldn't keep track of the plot of this movie. It was really complex and had so many different varying characters that eventually I gave up and just paid attention to the action. The action in this movie is some of the best I have ever seen. The cinematography is perfect, and the action itself is a lot more diverse. This is a sequel that takes it to the next level in the best possible ways.
The guards wear security bands to control their ins and outs. I need one.
Leave it to me.
I love this movie, but it was kinda stupid. It was just my kinda stupid. It's fun, it's funny, the characters are really likable, the movie's creative, imaginative, and has an amazing, but kind of tear-jerking ending.
We were supposed to protect them! Eric, where were you, Charles?
This movie is actually my favorite in the series. Not only are the characters just as interesting and fun to watch, but the plot was probably my favorite part. I'm a big fan of time travel stories, and this was an interesting way to tell it. The editing was tight, going between past, present, and future, but this movie gets really creative, especially in the beginning with a chick who was straight out of Portal. The ending of this movie is perfect, and I look forward to seeing where this series goes from here.
You have to understand that when you're in the games, you only get one wish.
There are 2 common complaints I hear about this movie. 1, it doesn't have that much action. I didn't actually think it had that much less action than the last film. And the other complaint is that it was really depressing. And yeah, it has a lot of heavy stuff in it, but it does have some lighter moments. The best thing about this movie that it actually does do better than the other 2 is suspense. And I can't wait to see how it all ends in November. This movie was absolutely hilarious from beginning to end. It throws everything at you, and because of the beautiful animation and fantastic voice acting, pretty much everything sticks. The characters are likable and have a lot of depth. There's a really good twist at the end that possibly doesn't make any sense, but I didn't care. And it even has social commentary in there. The fast-paced direction and constant jokes make this one of the most rewatchable films that I've seen this year.
I'm coming with you. You know that you need me.
You're coming with me.
I will admit that the trailers were awful. No, it wasn't rushed. Everything felt like it got just the right amount of screen time without slowing the movie down or making everything go by too fast. And no, Electro was not an awful villain. He had some cool powers, and Jamie Foxx did a great job in portraying him. If you want a deep and compelling villain, that's why we have Harry Osborn. This poor guy was abandoned by his father, abandoned by his own company, and abandoned by Spider-Man. He tried as hard as he could to be a good guy. How is that a boring villain? Throughout the whole film, I never once felt like looking at the time. Hell, I wouldn't have minded if it lasted longer. The action scenes are fantastic, with some of the best uses of slow motion I have ever seen. And that ending, if a movie can make me feel like I had lost someone really close, it had to be doing something right. I know I said Oculus was the most underrated movie of the year, but in terms of getting so much unnecessary hate, this one takes the cake. I loved The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The plot was a lot more interesting with conspiracies and a spy thriller edge. I loved Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson in their roles, it had some emotional moments, and really what else do I have to say? Everyone else has already sang this movie's praises. So yeah, Captain America the Winter Soldier was awesome. Moving on. Best Animated Movie of the Year. Hell, it gives Toy Story 3 a run for its money for Best Animated Movie of the decade so far. I'm not kidding when I say it belongs up there with the greats such as Terminator 2 and The Empire Strikes Back. The animation, it is fantastic. The flight sequences are amazing. If I have any regrets this year, it's missing out on seeing this on the big screen. The story is a major step up from the first movie, including a really threatening villain who looked creepy, sounded creepy, and always made me fear what he would do next. Every scene manages to give off a tone, whether it be suspense, happiness, anger, sadness. Something happens in this movie that I was not expecting. And just like Amazing Spider-Man 2, it made me feel emotions I didn't think I would be feeling after watching it. It's suspenseful, emotional, funny, adorable, has great characters, and I can't wait to see the third one when it comes out in 2017. It seems that every year we get that one science fiction movie that is just fantastic. The action in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. The way Doug Liman directs this movie is very fast paced with very well done editing and music. In case you don't know, it's a Groundhog Day type plot, but never once does it get repetitive. The special effects, editing, and music are all fantastic. It's also really funny. This movie is destined to become a cult classic. That's why it's my favorite movie of the year.
Because you know I'm all about that